Ladies and gentlemen, this is DVP World. You're watching another edition of Military Mind, bringing you news from the front lines. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. With no signs of de-escalation in the war between Ukraine and Russia, the conflict intensified overnight. According to the Ukrainian Air Force Command, Russia launched 86 drones into Ukrainian territory, with Odessa and Kharkiv bearing the brunt of the assault. In Odessa, at least 10 drone strikes were recorded. A 4-story residential building was completely destroyed by fire, injuring 3 firefighters when part of the structure collapsed during efforts to extinguish the flames. A separate strike ignited 3 floors of a 23-story apartment building, forcing 600 people to evacuate. The Odessa Regional Prosecutor's Office confirmed 1 death and 14 injuries. In Kharkiv, drone attacks damaged homes and cars in 2 districts, injuring 4 civilians. Across the border in Russia, Ukrainian drones targeted multiple regions. On Friday morning, 2 drones heading towards Moscow were shot down by air defenses, with debris falling into the city, according to Mayor Sergei Sobyanin. Now, in the Belgorod region, 2 civilians were injured in a separate drone attack the previous evening. In total, the Russian Defense Ministry reported that 61 Ukrainian drones were intercepted and destroyed across various regions. Now, in the Middle East, tensions flared again as Israel's emergency services responded to fires in Beersheba after a missile reportedly launched by Iran struck near residential buildings close to a major tech park. 5 people were injured and buildings sustained significant damage. The Israeli military said the missile was not intercepted by air defense systems. In retaliation, Israel launched a wide-scale overnight airstrike campaign on Iranian territory. According to the IDF, more than 60 fighter jets struck dozens of military targets, including missile production facilities, rocket engine factories, and a nuclear research facility in Tehran. Among the target was a Defense Research and Development Center identified by U.S. officials as the successor to Iran's pre-2004 nuclear weapons program. Israel claimed the attack sites represented the industrial core of Iran's missile development infrastructure, built over years under the Iranian Ministry of Defense. Modern warfare isn't just about trenches and armor any longer. Today, tanks are still powerful on the battlefield, but they've also become prime targets. According to Ukraine's special services, drones are responsible for 85% of all destroyed Russian personnel and equipment. The number of damaged and destroyed vehicles is staggering. With a multi-million-dollar tank threatened by drones that cost just a few $100s, how do you protect such a high-value target? Well, the answer lies in innovation. Soldiers are now outfitting their vehicles with makeshift defenses, including metal frames known as drone cages or metal shields. Now, these are designed to intercept or deflect drone strikes, preventing direct hits to critical areas like the turret or engine. Even Russian military analysts acknowledge the threat. Experts from the Center of Analysis of Strategies and Technology says tanks are being destroyed before they can even fire a shot, calling into question their role in modern warfare. But while the analysis may be grim, Russian actions tell a different story. Tanks are still rolling off the assembly lines. In early June, Russia's main tank factory delivered another batch of upgraded T-80 BMVs to the front. In May, more T-90Ms and T-72B3Ms followed, modernized version of the Soviet-era designs. Western analysis estimate that so far in 2024, Russia has received about 200 upgraded T-72s and up to 80 brand new T-90Ms. But the supply of T-80s to refurbish is still shrinking. Still, it's not just Russia doubling down on tanks. In Europe, the Franco-German MGCS program is developing a next-generation tank with billions invested. The United States is also upgrading the Abrams, introducing the M1E3, a name it shares with the past, but it'll be almost an entirely new machine. Such modernization demands significant money, effort, and time. Ukraine, however, isn't placing much focus on tanks right now, and there's reason. You see, tanks are designed to break through defenses and lead major offensives. But in recent years, Ukraine has largely been on the defensive. So until that changes, tanks won't be the top priority. Still, if large-scale offensive resumes, protecting tanks, especially from drones, will become more critical than ever. Amid the worsening crisis in the Middle East, Israel has launched a precision strike on an Iranian ballistic missile launcher. According to intelligence, the launcher was preparing for another attack. Satellite images and drone videos confirm the facility's destruction. So let's take a look at the consequences of that strike. At one of the training grounds near the occupied Crimean village of Perevalne, Russian command conducted regular combat training for newly arrived units that are being prepared for deployment in the Kherson region. Now, the focus of the training was the evacuation of the wounded using a stretcher and a unicycle. Yeah, you heard that right. This video makes it look like a bad joke or experiment, but the only irony is that this is not a joke. These people are really going to war.
Давай, ты процент. Готов? Готов. Все, встал? Маленько на тебя надо. Стабильно. Так, готов?
Нет. Да.
Готов. Раз, два, три.
Нет,
Не-не-не.
нет, ты всегда лицом вперед.
Готов? Готов. Раз, два, три. Все, грузим, Михаил. Хорошая тачка, да? Ой, что-то падает, что-то падает. Я не чую, там немного, я смотрю. Нажимай. Тебе вправо, мне влево.
Ну все, молодцы, пацаны.
And with that footage, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVB World.